Let's start at quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers is worth an ad. I don't like the matchup against Arizona this week, but he's definitely worth an ad. He's been better since DA came back. Justin Herbert's had 2 good games in a row. The matchup on paper is not great against the Titans this week, but they are a little bit banged up on the defensive side of the football. Drake May, not a great matchup this week. This is more of a long-term ad. I love this kid. He rushed for 95 yards last week, and he's got it. If you need a quarterback this week, Daniel Jones had a great game last week, and he's got the Panthers in Germany. So maybe Daniel Jones at least somewhat helps us in fantasy because nobody started him last week. And then if you're desperate in a super flex situation, I guess you could pick up Cooper Rush.
What about running backs?
Not too many. Ray Davis, he could be a guy who has some standalone flex value during the bye weeks, but he needs, to hit on a big play like he did last week. Audric Estime, I think, is a speculative ad. Sean Payton came out earlier this week and said he expects that he'll get more touches moving forward, and that's why I've been holding him for this long in a lot of my leagues. And then Khalil Herbert, I talked about him earlier in the program. If nothing else, Chase Brown's going to be the guy now in Cincinnati, so you want to handcuff Chase Brown, who got dinged a little bit last week.
What about the wide receivers?
Cedric Tillman should be owned in 100% of leagues. This guy's awesome. He's still out there. And if the Browns are off this week, I don't care. I'm picking him up. Juwan Jennings. Lindsay mentioned that earlier. The Niners we're on a bye. Out of sight, out of mind. We'll get him back in mind because he's going to start for the 49ers against Tampa Bay if he can go. Quentin Johnston. Don't love the matchup this week, but still great game last week and will probably bring some value moving forward. Adam Thielen. Panthers traded Jonathan Mingo for a 4th-round pick to the Dallas Cowboys. If you had missed it, Thielen is expected to be back this week, and the Panthers are just trading away wide receiver assets. And who knows, maybe even Thielen gets dealt. Xavier Leggett. Also still out there on the waiver wire. Panthers, once again, trading away wide receiver assets, leaving opportunities for targets for others. Ray McLeod. If Drake London can't go this week, and we're still not sure, he is going to be worth an ad, and he may be worth an ad regardless. Jalen Tolbert. We know CeeDee Lamb's banged up. I'm guessing Jonathan Mingo's not going to pick up the offense in 5 days. Jalen Tolbert could be worth an ad. He had a touchdown last week. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. He's actually had a couple of good games in a row. He had a good game last week. He had, 5 for 50 and a touchdown, and so he's worth a look. And then finally, Demarcus Robinson, who, I don't know when the magic's going to end. It's not like this guy's going to score a touchdown or 2 every single week, but strangely, since Puka and Cooper Kupp came back, he's been really good. All right, dirtbags, let's talk about other ways to play fantasy football. Do you guys know about Prize Picks? It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks.
You can turn your hot takes into cash. Fabs, listen here to figure out which players have the best matchups of the week. We always talk about guys that we like more or less depending on their matchup. Then take that information and flip on over to Prize Picks. See if you think that those players that we talked about will have more or less than the numbers that they have attached to them. It could be number of catches. It could be number of yards. It could be number of touchdowns. You can do it all in less than 60 seconds. It's quick and easy. And if you have a strong take about a guy that you don't have on your fantasy team, this is the place to put that take to work for you. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code FANTASYDIRT and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code FANTASYDIRT on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's like free money, guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. For tight ends, I think the first one on your list is very interesting moving forward. Was this past week, and I think it makes sense to continue using him.
And we had talked about him on the Sunday live stream, which hopefully you guys will be joining us if you haven't already. This is a good spot for Taysom Hill. The Saints are all banged up. Their running backs are all banged up. Olave's obviously dealing with a concussion, and he's a Swiss Army knife. So he can be utilized in any number. You could put him under center. You could run him in the backfield down near the goal line. He caught 4 passes last week, so he's been very good. Mike Gesicki has been red hot. He's been great the last couple of weeks. I'm guessing T. Higgins won't be back on a Thursday night, so Gesicki's worth a look. Deeper league, Jonnu Smith against the Rams, Jatavian Sanders against the Giants. He had a very good game last week. Theo Johnson had a touchdown last week. And here's another one now. The team that gives up the most fantasy points to tight ends is the Kansas City Chiefs. Yep. And we saw that last night again with Cade Otton. Now, the Broncos don't have like one tight end that they utilize more often than not. So I went and I dug up a little bit of the data. And in the last 4 weeks, Adam Troutman has led all tight ends in Denver with 141 snaps, with Lucas Krull at 112. But Krull's got more targets in that time. So I would not be surprised if one of these guys scored a touchdown this weekend. I just don't know which one to tell you to go and pick up because, like, it's so impossible to figure it out.